Okay, so I don't have any viewers right now, but that'll probably pick up. I'm squatting in Jeff Fritz's time slot right now since he's on vacation. Um, for any of you folks who aren't in the U.S., uh, our big Thanksgiving holiday is this Thursday, so this week ends up being just a kind of a throwaway week for a lot of folks, and a lot of vacation gets taken and so forth. Okay, so what I want to do today, I've got this app that I started on my last stream. I call it the Puppet Master. And the idea behind the Puppet Master is that my home automation hub, when events happen, when doors open or close, when light switches get turned on and off, is going to send, my home automation hub is going to send an event to this web API that lives on a Raspberry Pi. Now, this web API then is going to do whatever logic is involved with, making an automation happen. So in the case of my pantry door, the pantry door opens. In fact, let's go look at that code actually while I'm talking about it. So in the case of the pantry light, we got it. Well, here, let's just walk through the web API. Then we'll come back to what I want to do today. So I've got a controller here, and it gets an event from the automation hub, as well as an automation name. And then it passes it off to the right automation. It news up an I automation called automation, and it passes off the event and fires off automation.handle. So if we look at automation.handle, it is literally just saying, all right, if this automation, which we know this automation is coming from a switch because on the hub end of things, I've set up a webhook that will only fire when the pantry door opens. So let's take a look at that really quick. Apps. Aha, webhook, pantry light automation. So all these different events that we can fire here, and I've got one in here for a contact sensor for pantry door, also for test contact that I set up just to make it easy to test without having to go leave my office and start throwing the pantry door open and closed. So yeah, it fires off a webhook to this URL, including some event information, and that event basically looks like this. This is the actual code in Hubitat that is sending the event, and it's building a JSON string there. I'm only picking up 5 of the properties because they're just only the 5 that I care about. I might go back and do more later on. Okay, so but there's a problem. There's a problem with this design. I was thinking about it the other day after I wrote it, and the problem with this design is Web API controller actions, or MVC controller actions, are meant to be, here I'm going to silence that, there we go. They're meant to be very, very transient. They're meant to do their thing and get out. They're not meant to be long running. I mean, they can be long running, but they're not meant to be, and that's really not a best practices type thing. So what I want to do is when we get the event, instead of doing this, instead of firing up an I automation and handing it off to automation.handle, what I think I want to do instead is I would like to hand it off to an outside process. What I don't know is if we can do that with SignalR. I mean, I thought about doing like named pipes to hand it off to an outside process to do these long-running tasks. I should probably explain my problem better. So Web API, MVC actions meant to be very transient, very quick. They're not meant for long-running tasks. Some of my automations will be long-running tasks. Some of them will be, all right, turn the light off and then wait 5 minutes. And or in the case of the pantry door opens. We're going to wait 5 minutes. If the pantry door is not closed, we are going to sound an alert in the house. I have a speaker that's going to say, hey, come close the pantry door. And then after some other period of time, we'll just turn off the light and give up. So I think SignalR will work for us. I don't know. So let's find out. Let's dive in. The worst we can do is break it, right? All right. So I believe there is a SignalR .NET Core package out there somewhere. .NET Framework. I thought there was a SignalR Core. Well, there's a bunch of SignalR Cores here. Let's just, whoops, that's not what I wanted. SignalR .core. There we go. Ah, there it is. 7.94 million downloads. So I am like literally the last person using SignalR. Wait a minute, what's the difference here? Okay, so that's still dependent on .NET Framework. I don't know why it has the .core, but it's Microsoft.ASPNET Core.SignalR.core that we want. Okay. All right, restore completed. So I believe I was looking in the docs. Who wrote this doc? My friends Tom and Scott and Rachel. I know all three of them. Tom and Scott are on my team now, actually. Rachel used to be, but she left. So there was there's like a quick start for a hub or something in here. There we go. So let's just walk down the doc. We'll get the web API side of things set up, and then go from there. So in my services, enter key didn't work there. All right, and then we need to add a route in startup.configure. We're not going to call this, okay, so chat hub has to inherit from hub, okay. Where does one put this? I guess it'd be a controller, kind of, sort of. Let's make a new directory to store my SignalR hubs. What do I want to call this? Event Hub. Event Hub, that's an Azure product. How about Automation Hub? Alright, that is going to inherit from hub. So you know what? I'm just gonna copy what they've done here in the sample here and see what happens when I use that. More or less. I'm going to change it a little bit. I kind of would like to use my hub event model, but the hub event model... You know what? Let's just do a string for now. Event details, we'll call it. But I'm going to come back here. I'm going to strongly type this later. We'll make it pass a hub event object, because I've got a model here that I'm using to deserialize the events that come from the automation hub. Ideally, I think I just pass them along to whatever downstream process is in that same format. All right. And what they have here is they are returning clients all. So all the clients are going to receive this message. They're going to send async. So it's a method name that we're passing along with object arguments. Okay. So our method name how about we pass that in? Okay. That's a start. Now, what I would like to do, and I don't know if it's possible. I don't know if I'm completely new to SignalR, and I'm sure, I've got one viewer right now, but I'm sure if somebody comes along who's a SignalR expert, they'll correct me. I would like to be able to fire this event from a controller. So I'd like to have my client connected to this SignalR hub, and then when we get an event coming into the Web API, I would like for the Web API controller to send a message over the SignalR hub to the clients. I think it'll work. We'll find out. Let's just go into automation controller. And right now I am doing automation.handle.event. All this is going to go away. All this I want to pull out into a separate process so it can handle long-running tasks. Again, Web API could do long-running tasks, but it's not supposed to, so I'm not going to make it. So it's not a static, though. The SignalR hub is not. It's not static. So how are requests? What? Send messages to clients. Strongly typed hubs. Change name of a hub method. Handle events for connection. Handle errors. I don't see anything here about a hub handling a method that has been given to it. And again, I'd like to be able to call this from like another Web API controller. I would rather not. I would rather not have to totally rethink my logic on how I'm doing things here with the home automation controller, but I might. I think my one viewer is Sam because he just added me on Twitter. If that's Sam, hey, how you doing, bud? Um. Okay, let's take a look at a tutorial because I'm still no. I want to see code for the hubs. That's just Web API. This is the ASP.NET. All right. Let's see if Stack Overflow has anything. Send message to SignalR client from MVC controller, which is not exactly what we're doing, but it's close enough that I think I'm going to find more hits on Stack Overflow. So he's using a hub feature of SignalR to publish messages to all subscribed clients. Works fine when calling send, but I'd like to yes. All right. Hey, it's in the SignalR wiki. Hey, let's take a look at the SignalR wiki here in a minute. All right. Action result. Context. Ew. It's all about getting the context. So let's go back over to my controller. What's this? I wonder if this where this get hub context lives in .NET Core. Get an instance of iHub context. Home control. Oh, look at that. Who wrote this? Tom. Thanks, Tom. All right. So it's getting the hub context. What are we injecting that like as a? Yep. Okay. Oh, so I don't even need that code. I don't even need that code back in the automation hub. I don't need this, right? Because context, the hub context has the ability to do it. So I could just do that. My implementation can just be just by in name only, right? All right. So back over here. What is it that we're taking? iHub context of notification of okay. Notification hub, I'm guessing, is the name of the hub that they created. So let's try that. So I'm going to pass in that. By the way, that iHub that I'm passing into automation controller already. That's an automate. That's an abstraction I made to represent my home automation controller. So we've got so many hubs flying around. I know it's getting confusing, but I think I can keep it straight. We'll find out. I'm back. I'm in the wrong class. I want to go back to my controller. There we go. So let's take an iHub context type of automation hub. Hey, thanks for the follow. Um, I'm, m m you know, I have no idea how to pronounce your handle, but thank you for following. Um, so where was I? Automation Hub. Whoops, wrong button. Using SignalR. Okay. So, identifier expected. What did I? Oh, I need to give it a name. Hub context. There we go. All right. So here in our constructor, let's set that guy. So in theory, I guess what we can do is, instead of doing what I'm doing here, instead of doing this, let's just blow that away, because that's actually not what I want to do anymore. What I want to do, and I don't want to blow it away because I don't actually have this in GitHub yet, so I'm just going to comment it out. Because that code I want to pick up and lift and shift into my external service that I'm building here. All right, so I guess we can just do context.clients.send send async. Is there not a send async? I'm sorry. All send async. Look at that. All right. String method. We'll just pass in automation name. Sure. And I want to pass the whole event later, but for now, I'm going to just pass in the value of the event, which is going to be like open or closed. All right, so let's go back over to my startup, fix some stuff over here. I suppose I should probably bring in that namespace. All right, so I think that's everything I need to do on the Web API. Now, all of this other stuff I've built in the Web API now, that's extraneous. If you watch the last stream that I did where I built this Web API that's going to control my home automation system kind of on a string, I built all these abstractions to handle that. And what I pointed out at the beginning of this stream was I've come to the conclusion that Web API, while it can handle like long-running automations, I'll have automations that last 5 minutes or longer. While it can handle that, while it can do that, that's not what it's meant to do. That's not what Web API was designed for. So what we really should do, and what the point of this exercise that we're doing is, my Web API is going to listen to events from my home automation hub. And when it gets those events, it's going to hand them off to an external process. And that external process is going to be the one that that does all the long-running tasks, kind of unfettered. So let's build that external process. New project, console app. What shall I call it? We'll call it the Puppet Executive. And we'll also give him SignalR. Actually, you know what? There's just an easier dialog to do that in here, isn't there? Add it to everything. Restore complete. All right. Close those NuGet windows. In our executive, for now, I just want it to write what it gets. So this is my first time doing SignalR. I have no idea what I'm doing. So I'm having to lean on our documentation a little bit. Clients, client. Call hub methods from a client. I want to call client methods from a hub. So where does this get built here? So this is the handler that is going to handle the code coming from, handle the message coming from the hub. But where does this go? So it's just setting an event, I guess. It's just all right. Let's do this then. While true, we'll just let it loop forever for the time being. So I guess the first thing I need to do is connect to my hub. So we'll just say var connection equals new hub connection builder generate class connection build. Nope. Did I spell it right? I added the reference, right? It's there. Well, here, I'll bring in the namespace manually. Does that do it? Wait. .client does not exist. Am I bet I brought in the wrong package. Oh wait, I was also looking in the wrong project. So is there a Microsoft.ASPNET Core.SignalR? Here, I'll just no. That's the only one. So why is there no client namespace? So SignalR is it's a stack in ASP.NET Core for dealing with real-time communication. So what I am doing right now is I have a little web API that I've built to be basically a broker, kind of an automation broker. When my home automation system gets events, it's going to send the event to the web API. And right now I've got the web API looking at that event and saying, oh, well, say the pantry door opened, it's time to turn on the pantry light. So it sends a command back to the home automation system to turn on the pantry light. Now that's all well and good for processes that are instant, right? So pantry door opens, pantry light comes on, that's the end of the request. Now, there are going to be automations in my house where I want the task to be a long-running task. Pantry door opens, light comes on, and then X number of minutes later, the light goes off, or we sound an alert in the house to say, hey, go close the pantry door. So Web API could still do this. I could still do this in Web API. I could kick off an asynchronous task in Web API. The thing is, you're not supposed to do that. That's like a big no-no. Once the Web API controller action is done, it should be done. There shouldn't be anything sticking around. So what I'm doing instead is I'm using SignalR to communicate in real time from my Web API to an external process that'll handle the long-running automations. What's interesting, however, is I do not have a SignalR.client namespace, although I think I should install. Oh, no, Microsoft.ASP.NET. Okay, so there is a package that I didn't get. So what do I need for the system I'm building here? So my home automation system is, here, I'll zoom in on it. It's called Hubitat, and that's how it's spelled. It's like habitat, but it's Hubitat. Um, if you've ever heard of Samsung SmartThings, it's very similar to SmartThings. They kind of borrowed SmartThings' programming model. Now the difference between SmartThings and Hubitat is SmartThings, all their process, not all, but most of their processing takes place in the cloud. That's fine for me. I'm a cloud guy, but unfortunately, I've had some issues lately where the performance has not been what I would expect it to be. So I want to move all of my automations local. I want to do them all inside the house. It's fine to access things from outside the house and use the cloud for that, but as far as home automation processing, I want that happening in the house. Now, the Hubitat can do processing. It can't do nearly as much as SmartThings can. SmartThings can run, there's a SmartThings app called WebCore, which is just this crazy complex rules engine. It hasn't ported cleanly to Hubitat. People have problems with it on Hubitat, so I'm not going to use that rules engine. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to offload all of my complex automations from my home automation hub to this .NET application I'm writing. And my .NET application, it's all going to run on a Raspberry Pi. I've actually already got the Raspberry Pi sitting down on my server rack and plugged in, and right now it's running an earlier version of this code that all it does is when the pantry door opens, the pantry light comes on. When the pantry door closes, the pantry light goes off. And in fact, I can demo that very quickly. I don't even have to show you my pantry. Just like in hypotheticals, I can show you so this is the status for my pantry light right now. Now what I want you to pay attention to is right here where it says current state, switch is off. Okay? Now I can turn the pantry light on. Now it's on. Now it's off, right? Now the code that's written today, which I've already messed up, and I really should get this project in GitHub. Oh, sorry. The code that is running today, when I've got an app on my hub that fires off a webhook. All it does is fire off a webhook to that web API. When either the actual pantry door opens or closes, or I also have a virtual contact sensor I call the test contact when it opens and closes. So if I go to that test contact right now, right now it's closed. So if I open it, so when I click this button that says open, that represents opening the pantry door, the physical pantry door. And you'll notice over here, the switch came on. If I close the pantry door, it goes off. Now, what happened when I clicked open? That was an event on this virtual test contact on my home automation hub. My home automation hub fired off the webhook. My web API on my Raspberry Pi sitting on my network rack in my basement got that event and sent back the command to turn the light on and off according to what the contact is doing. So that's all I've got going here. It's just a Raspberry Pi is what I'm running this application on, but I also have this other device from Hubitat. All right, so did I did not get my package yet. All right, so there was a package that I was missing. Of course, I was searching the installed packages. That's why I didn't see the one I was looking for. There it is. Oh, I installed the wrong package earlier. I should just install this one on everything. right? I don't want to do it just in here, though. I want to go for the whole solution. I always do that. I always search on the Installed tab. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. All right. So there we've got the NuGet package we wanted. So now if I come back over, now do I have .client? I still don't have .client. So I actually have to add the .client package. Okay, that's fine. .client. Now that's interesting. Why are there so many more packages? I mean, so many more installs for the main package versus the client package. All right, now I've got my namespace. There, so now let's go back over to the sample and, where was I in the sample? This is not the doc I was looking at, go away. This is the doc I was looking at. So we're making a new hub connection builder. So you learned ASP.NET MVC, but you want to learn ASP.NET Core, and they're saying Core is harder than MVC. What do I think about this? Okay, so I won't say harder. It is, it's newer, and the tooling probably isn't quite as. Yeah, I know. They caught the filter caught it. I'll fix that filter. ASP.NET Core is newer, and the tooling is not quite as mature as regular ASP.NET. But to be clear, ASP.NET MVC is a framework for web development that is available in ASP.NET Core. If you learn MVC in ASP.NET framework, ASP.NET proper, old ASP.NET, part of the .NET framework, you'll pretty much know MVC and .NET Core. It's very, 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 very similar. So to back up and clear up that terminology just a little bit, let's do I don't have Visio installed. Okay, I can't do Visio right now. So there are two basic flavors of ASP.NET now. All right, there's ASP.NET, which is part of the .NET framework, and then there's ASP.NET, which is part of .NET Core. Now, by and large, they pretty much do the same thing. There are some differences in what's implemented. The ASP.NET, which is part of the .NET framework, again, is older and more mature, has more tools, has more stuff built in, whereas the ASP.NET that is part of .NET Core is newer, multi-platform. It's going to get most of the attention when it comes to new features moving forward. So you definitely want to learn .NET Core. Now, the difference between .NET Core and .NET Framework is one that throws a lot of people off. So .NET, I can summarize it very simply. .NET Framework is Windows only, and .NET Core is Windows plus everything else. So Linux, Mac OS, .NET Core, as I'm doing in this project, I can run on a Raspberry Pi. So if you know ASP.NET MVC, you can pick up ASP.NET Core and do MVC over there, and it will mostly look the same. There will be some tiny little differences, like ASP.NET under Framework. Actually, I haven't looked at it in the past couple versions, so I could be wrong. But as of the last time I looked, there was like the way it was structured had, of course, it has an app.config because that's what .NET framework things do. .NET Core doesn't use app.config. They use appsettings.json. But the other big difference that you'll notice between ASP.NET Framework and ASP.NET Core is kind of the structure and how they do MVC projects is just a tiny bit different in when the program starts up and how the route tables are built and so forth. Aside from that, building a controller is the same, building a view is the same, and building models, again, the same. The other thing you might want to pick up, if you know ASP.NET MVC, you might want to pick up ASP.NET Razor Pages. Razor Pages is pretty cool. It's MVC, but without the controller. They moved the controller logic into the page, and it ends up being a lot kind of like old style ASP, if you ever did that, or maybe it reminds me a little bit of PHP, honestly, just a little, where you have to be careful that you separate your concerns, which is what MVC did, but it's a lot faster. And honestly, if I were doing web development, I'd probably do Razor Pages first. As comfortable as I am in MVC, and I've got a learning curve for Razor Pages, I think it's a cleaner abstraction. It makes more sense to a lot of people. All right, so I'm building my hub connection builder. And for now, I'm just going to hard code. Nope. String HTTP : local hosts. What port does my project run on locally? Oh no, debug. 9776. And generally, I don't hard code stuff like this, but when I'm just trying to figure out what I'm doing, like I am with SignalR at this moment, because again, this is the very first time I've ever touched SignalR. I like to hard code things just, to be fast. Hey, thanks for the follow, Admiral Cure. Admiral Cure? Cure? So our client starts up, it builds this thing, and then in the sample they've got code. That's handy. They've got code that waits a random amount of time between 1 and 5 seconds, it looks like, and tries to connect again. Okay, I'll do that. And then I want to handle so they're just adding a anonymous function there. All right, we can do that. So what are we going to get? We're going to get a string, I guess, just like in the sample, because that's what I passed from. That's what I passed from the controller. Yep, string. Okay. And then I'm not sure I understand this syntax. Okay, so we have to give it the method name. Okay. So we have to give it a... Okay. I get it. Okay, so we have to give it the name of the automation that we gave it, that we passed in the controller. So that was that's not going to work. That what I'm doing here isn't going to work. That'll work. So we're going to, on a message called handle, but is that right? No, that's not right. Async send. Well, you know what? Let's just, I mean, I would have liked to have seen the server side of this. Maybe the server side lines up with that. Yeah, okay, so it does. So receive message, user message. Okay, all right. So needs, where I'm getting thrown out, where I'm getting thrown off here is in the sample code here. There's 3 parameters for send async. But if we on the hub side, on the server side, but on the client, and they're not doing it in this sample. Going down here. Here we go. In the client, they're taking, so I guess the type that's being passed in the angle brackets there, which is 2 strings, I guess are I have no idea. Well, we'll figure it out. Let's just try it. Let's see what happens. Where did that user message get? Okay. Because it's a lambda, we don't have to declare those. All right. So it was event name and event value. Ah, look at that. All the red squigglies went away. Okay, so I'm on the right track, I think. We'll see if it compiles. So I don't know what's up with the using this.dispatcher.invoke there. I'm going to do that, although I don't. No, you can't see the project now. Oh, thanks. I forgot to switch back. I'm so my bad. So what we've done in the absence of the project to look at is I wrote this code here. All in the quest to get you know, no squigglies. So what I was saying is I don't know what the deal is with this syntax right here, this this dot dispatcher invoke, why we're doing that here, why this anonymous method is invoking another anonymous method. I have no idea. I'm going to run with it because that's what's in the sample, and that's, you know, cargo cult programming, and cargo cult programming is bad, but for now I'm going to do it. Okay, can I resolve? Well, wait, we're in a static. We're in a static method, so I don't know. I don't know why the dispatcher is even being used there. Let's just do this. Let's just put, we're already in an anonymous method. Let's just console write line I think it's so it won't block, actually. I think that's why they're using invoke, because it's supposed to be like a WPF app, and I don't know the first thing about WPF. So I'm going to ignore it for now. So for now, just to test this out, make sure that it works, because I've got stuff hard-coded all over the place that I don't want to hard-code. For now, let's just write out what am I? Oh, I forgot to close my string. That's what. Okay. That should work, I think. So let's fire up the old Web API. Start a new instance of that. All right, that appears to be running. Now let's start up the client. I probably should have had it print something out there that said it was running. But in theory, I should be able to send my Web API a hub event now through Postman, and we should see it pop up over here in this other process. And it just so happens that I believe, nope, 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 yes. Body, yes, okay. So it was local hosts port 9776. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to connect. Yeah, that's not going to work. So I did all that work there for SignalR, and I forgot to write the code that was actually going to connect. Connection dot dot open, is it? Is there an open? How are they doing it in the code over here? Connect to a hub. Connection equal. So does dot build do it? No. Connection start async. Okay. Connection dot start async dot wait. What don't you like about that? Use as a statement. Oh wait, you know what? Dot wait. Open paren, close paren. There we go. My bad. What else did we want to do? Oh, we're also going to say There we go. Let's try this again. All right, that's running. Run the executable. Connection started. It thinks it's connected, so let's send that request to the web API. Ah! There we go. We have a second process now. Handling those events. That's awesome. All right, so the last thing that I want to do today before I sign off, I say this like it's going to be a small task. It's going to probably be about 20 minutes. The last thing that I want to do is I want to refactor I want to refactor everything. I want to get rid of all this other crap that I built up in my web API because it's a lot. It really all it's going to be doing is marshaling the events to the external process now. So let's do that, and then we'll call it a day because I've got work I need to get done. I know, I'm no fun. So in our executive program, we'll I love it when I just sit here and brain fart when all I wanted to do was make a new folder. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to recreate most Do I want to do that though? Yeah, for now. I think I'll move my automations out into their own project later on. Wait, we don't need a controllers folder. We do need a models folder. Hey, thanks for the follow, Lenny Zampino. Lenny's? Lenny's? You know, I love it when streamers are trying to pronounce, you know, people's handles and they're just coming up with all kinds of weird stuff. You want to be personal, you want to say hi, but at the same time, I'll just sit here and struggle with your handle for all day if I try. So I probably shouldn't try. But thank you for the follow. All right, so models and services. Add folder services. There we go. And then I'm just going to move things over wholesale here. So that we can. I'll have to go in and fix the namespace, I'm sure. Yeah, that's fine. There we go. Yeah, I got some more stuff to fix over there. We'll move my device abstractions over there too, as well as, yeah, I am going to need to make a common class somewhere, a common like class library that they can both share. All right, we'll do that. New project, class library. Puppet common. Yeah, I know. I did that on purpose. Models, and then I don't need to inject this anymore either, but I will need it later on. So let's put that over there too. We can go ahead and kill it in the web API. We can kill the models in the web API. No. Yes. No. Yes. Yes, we can, because we've got that common now. Honestly, I can probably move my exceptions to that common class too. So the web API is looking a lot thinner than it used to be. Now all it does is start up, wait for hub events, and hand them off to SignalR, which sends them to that outside process. I think. All right, so we don't need this anymore. We'll get rid of that. We'll get rid of that. We need to add that reference. So dependencies, add reference to Puppet Common. And then oh, I never moved over my hub event object. I think that's okay. I think I left it in I think it's still there. I think when I just removed it from the nope, it deleted it. Okay, I have to recreate that. No big deal. All I need to do is come over here and get nope, that's not what I wanted. I wanted the actual code for the webhook. Because what I'll do is I'll grab this little snippet. By the way, this that we're seeing here is the have I ever built something to patent? No, I haven't. I'm just building stuff on top of other people's stuff. I don't know that any of it's really patentable. So this is the home automation hub programming environment. It uses this really nasty looking language called Groovy. I really don't like it. It's like if somebody took Java and tried to make it into Python, and what they got was just a mess. I mean, it's my own personal opinion. We're all allowed to have opinions. All right, hub event. Of course, that's going to give me a bunch of red squigglies, so we'll comment that out. There we go. So what do I need here? I need string device ID. I'm just making these all strings because I want to keep it fairly loosely coupled in case I want to go back and retool this for my other automation hub, which is a SmartThings hub. All right, that's pretty much what I need. I can go back and add other stuff as I need to later. All right, back into the controller. Now we have a hub event class. Oh, build. I promise you it's there, Visual Studio. Just find it. Wait, can we build that one project? No. Implements eye automation. Do I have eye automation over here yet? I don't think I did. I don't think I brought eye automation with me either. Whoops. That's what I get for moving too fast and not having things in source control. That's okay. Eye automation only had one method. Um, what's going on here? Let's declare a bot. Oh, no, no, no. Little I. There we go. Now will it build? There we go. And also this. Type hub event is less accessible. Okay, I need to make hub event public. I wasn't thinking. All right, now we should be able to build the common project. Nope, I still messed up. Need to add a namespace over here, and HTTP client factory. Where does that come from? I don't remember what package that's in. You know what? Let's not use HTTP client factory. Let's just no, that's not what I wanted. I don't want to take any dependencies on ASP.NET, though, for an HTTP client factory. Is there an easy way to do that? What's this guy doing? Building with iHost. So he's just making his own server. That's not what I wanted. That is .NET Framework, not .NET Core. Okay, I guess I can take that dependency, ASP.NET Core.app, I reckon. There ought to be a better way. Let's go search NuGet. Manage NuGet Packages for project. Microsoft.net.http for framework 4. ASPNET Web API client supports .NET Standard. I've used it before. System.net.http .NET Standard .NET Standard .NET. Well, I could be proven wrong later on, but I think that's the package I want. I mean, unless, let's just go with it. Okay, so Microsoft.net. Wasn't it? No, it was System.net. System.net.http client and client handler. What else do we have? No factory methods that generate a client. Okay. All right, so let's do this. New HTTP client. Yeah, I have no idea how to dot base address. There we go. So I probably didn't even need that package. Let's get rid of that. We'll just use the one that's built into whatever version of .NET Core I've got going here. So does get async still take? Yes, get async takes a request. So all I need to do is just fire up new HTTP client. I made that way more complicated than it needed to be. All right, what else did I break here? Public void. Because it looks like I broke something. Well, I didn't implement iHub. I'm just breaking all kinds of stuff. Don't get why public wouldn't be. Oh, here. Oh, because I'm in the constructor. That's why. Oh, cam. There we go. And again, ignoring all the hard-coded crap, I just want to do proof of concept right now. Then I'll clean it up so I don't get more technical debt before I, go further along. Does my common project build now? Let's find out. Yes. Why did I do that again? I love it when you go down a rabbit hole and you completely forget why. Okay, so I want to do something over here. Automation controller is going to get an event. Let's just go ahead and pass the event. See if it can serialize that. I bet it can. And then the executive which also needs a dependency on the common project. Okay, it has one. So why is it not getting hub event? I do have a reference. I mean, we can add one, but okay, there we go. So we get the event name, we get the event, we pass event / description text. Does this all build? Let's see if this all builds. It all builds. Let's run it. Give me a second. All right, so the web API is running. Let's fire up the executive and make sure it's still doing its thing. All right, did I close Postman? I did close Postman. Let's get Postman going again. All right, so if we've done this refactor correctly, and I see we just had a bunch of viewers join, I'm gonna before I test this code, I'll tell you what we're testing. I'll even walk you through the code. All right, so hi new viewers. I'm kind of taking on a little personal project / proof of concept. What I'm doing is I'm really big into home automation. It's like my thing. It's one of my biggest hobbies. Like my hobbies are video games, home automation, and music, and maybe a little 3D printing. Hey, thanks for the follow. What was your name? Oh, that's my friend Elijah followed me. Hey, thanks, Elijah. So, anyway, home automation is like one of my things. And I've been using the SmartThings platform for a long time. And I dig SmartThings. I really like it. I like the programming model overall. I don't like the language they chose, but I like the rest of it. And one of the advantages SmartThings has is that it has a lot of cloud processing. You have a lot of power available to you because it all takes place in Samsung's cloud. Now, that's a blessing and a curse. Sometimes some of my automations, they're not happening as quickly as I'd like them to happen. So I'm moving all my automation locally. For that, I got this. It's called Hubitat. Hubitat. You can go look them up. They're a new startup, and basically what they did was they stole SmartThings' programming model. Right, the whole thing is just SmartThings. I mean, SmartThings, they're all their whole platform is open source. Well, not all of it, but a lot of their platform is open source. And I guess somebody just said, hey, you know what? Let's make a local version of SmartThings. Now that's great, but it has limitations. And one of the limitations is there is this rules engine called WebCore. And people on SmartThings love WebCore, and a lot of Hubitat users love it too, because they came from SmartThings, and they go and they put WebCore on Hubitat. Now, WebCore, it's an app for making really complex automations. It's a rules engine, very complex rules engine. And some folks have had some trouble running it on Hubitat. Some folks have had trouble getting their Hubitat coming online after a firmware update if they're running WebCore, right? So maybe the problem's been overstated. Maybe it won't brick my device, but I really don't want to throw WebCore on my Hubitat device. So what I want to do instead is first of all, any simple automation. Simple automations are really easy to handle. Like in here, let's look at an example. Simple lighting app right here. I don't have any lighting rules, but we can look at one. For an example, I want to control my pantry lights. What happened? Where did they go? Oh, there we go. Pantry lights, what do I want to do? I want to turn on the pantry lights. What do I want to trigger the action? Well, I want the opening and closing of a contact sensor to trigger that action. Okay. Which contact sensors? I'm going to pick two. Test contact and pantry door. Test contact is a virtual contact sensor that I've created in my Hubitat. It's just a software abstraction. It doesn't actually exist. And then when I click Done, this rule will be in place so that when I open the pantry door, the pantry lights will come on, and when I close it, they'll go off. And that's fine, and I could leave this automation there, and it would work fine. Why am I doing all this work in C# if I could just do that? Well, I don't ever do anything simple, right? For starters, I like my pantry door closed, and I have 3 boys, one of which is a teenager, another one's a preteen. They make messes all over the place. I like for them to keep things tidy. One thing that I like for them to do is close the freaking pantry door when you're done getting whatever you're going to get out of it. Okay. So if I don't do something that will nag them to close the pantry door, it'll never get closed. So what I have right now on SmartThings is in WebCore, I have a complicated set of rules that says, all right, if the pantry door is open for longer than 5 minutes, we're going to sound an alert on. I have a speaker in the kitchen. It's basically just a Raspberry Pi running VLC, and I can send audio to it. So I send an alert to that says, hey, close the pantry door. 5 minutes later, if it's still open, we're going to say, I said, close the pantry door. And then 5 minutes later, if the pantry door is still open, the speaker says, all right, you're not listening to me, so I'm just going to turn off the pantry light. And then we leave the pantry door open. Yeah, I kind of made my house passive-aggressive. My kids hate it. It's wonderful. I love it. So I can't do that in Hubitat, not out of the box. I can do that with the WebCore app on SmartThings. I could do it with the WebCore app on Hubitat, but I don't want to install WebCore on Hubitat because I think I think that could lead to bad things because people complain about their Hubitat getting bricked running WebCore. So what I am doing, what this project that I'm doing does, is we have. I'm going to remove this app now. We have an app in Hubitat that sends webhooks. So anytime pantry door or test contact are opened or closed, it sends a webhook to this URL. And then that URL is going to be a web API, .NET Core web API. It takes the event information that comes from that, and it does whatever it's going to do. Now, the last time I streamed, a couple of days ago, actually over the weekend, I built the web API, and it works, right? Right now, there's web API code running. I've got a Raspberry Pi sitting on my network rack in the basement. And when you open the pantry door, the pantry light comes on, and that's because of .NET Core code I have running on that Raspberry Pi. That's because of this web API. However, like the complicated automation that I laid out where we nag, and then we finally just give up and turn the light off, that's a long-running process. I mean, that whole thing takes 15 minutes. I could kick off an async task from a web API controller. I could. You're not supposed to. That's not really what Web API was meant to do. So what I'm doing today, and what I've done, and mostly done, and we're about to compile and deploy it again, is the Web API listens. So this is where's my controller? Where's my Web API controller? There it is. It listens. Okay, I don't think I need this code anymore. I'll leave it commented for now. So it listens for that event, and then what it does now is it just passes it off to a SignalR hub, right? We have a SignalR hub running. There's no code behind it. It's just implements a hub. We send that event to that hub, which will then send it to a client. And in this case, I've named the client Puppet Executive, because I named my web API Puppet Master. Actually, the executive should probably be the Puppet Master, but I didn't think of this stuff when I named it. Anyway, he gets here in the code. We set up essentially an event handler for SignalR that says, all right, when you get an event, we're going to write it out to the console. That's all we're going to do for right this second. Here in a minute, I'm going to wire it up to actually do the work and turn the light on and off. But for now, let's make sure that my little refactoring exercise worked. So in theory, my web API is running. In theory, I should be able to send this request. Here, I'll zoom in so y'all can see that. This is basically the event that comes from the Hubitat hub, the webhooks app that I've got deployed out there. So if I send this, if I pretend here Postman is my Hubitat hub, and it sends this event that says, okay, this contact sensor was closed, the web API should pass that event over to my executive program here, which will actually be what runs automations in the future. So let's send it and find out. And it's not giving me the message I thought it was going to give me because I'm not passing the message. Whoops. But it is working. All right. So that's great. All right. So we can shut that down now. Let's do the last little bit. Let's do the last little bit that will that'll fire off the event. And I think I'm just going to do like a task.run there. Yeah, let's just do that. Let's just do a task.run inside that that handler. What parameters do we take? So we're going to take, I guess we'll just pass in the hub event. No, the event name and the I guess I don't really need to take those as parameters, do I? I can just do this. Nope. And that's when I will grab the old code from my automation controller. This is what I want to do. And we're going to get red squigglies all over the place when I uncomment this. Actually, I will name this automation name. So we're going to do that, going to do that. This we will move new Hubitat. I don't think I had any constructor parameters on that. Did I not? iAutomation is a thing. I assure you it's a thing because I created it. Public common.models, iAutomation is inaccessible due to its protection level. Okay. Much better. Can I implicitly convert type puppet master.services to That's because I didn't change namespaces. Nope, 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 nope. Need to go in here and change more namespaces. It's the problem with refactoring. I wish Visual Studio knew how to do this part. Or maybe it can and I just didn't know. Okay, I think my exception needs, yep. Alright, so I was trying to do what exactly? Well, here, let's just build and see what blows up. I'll fix it that way. iHub, huh? Did I not fix iHubs? I did not fix iHub. There we go. Get rid of that line. There we go. That looks better. You know what? Let's just do this. Let's find and replace in files. puppet master dot, replace with puppet common dot in the current project. All right, build. Nope, still blowing stuff up. All right, what else? Hubitat implements iHub, but it can't because it does not implement get device. Because it does not have the matching return type of iDevice. All right, what happens now? Refactoring by red squiggly, we call this exercise. What project is this in? Well, this is the executive. Yep. This we're not going to do anymore. We're just going to drop out of that. And then automation, call it hub. Wait, what's going on here? iHub hub equals new Hubitat hub. And here we will make a automation named automation. This part is painful, but necessary before we go any further in this project, because I really don't want a lot of technical debt I have to clean up later. We don't need that anymore. All right, we are completely refactored and everything builds. So that means it's good, right? Forcibly closed by the remote host. Maybe it just wasn't ready. I should start the web API first this time. Now we'll start the executive. Debug. So, in theory, we've got this all wired up now. In theory, it should actually operate the light, I think. Let's go look at the device. And again, for those of you who just joined recently, this right here is the current state of the actual light switch in my pantry at this moment. Right now it's off. If this works, I think if I tell it that it's responding to an open contact sensor, it should turn the light on. So let's go into the body here and tell it that it is going to be a open, that's this, an open contact sensor. Send. Yeah, not so much. All right, let's debug it and find out why. Okay, automation name is underscore pantry light, right? So let's, actually I could have stepped into the automation there, but I didn't. But let's set the breakpoint here on handle. Send that event again. So there's the event. So sure enough, value is open. So if event value is open, then pantry light steps on. What's the key for step into F11? Okay. F10. Alright, so this is where it should send the request to turn the switch on. Let's look at the URI that it's sending the Hubitat real quick here. So it is saying device 189. Oh, wait. I see the problem, I think. So it didn't turn it on, but I think I know why. I believe I saw an extra space in the implementation of iHub over here. So second, unless, well here, let's, you know what we ought to do? We ought to just trim and trim. Okay, I'm going to set another breakpoint right there. Connection started. Let's fire it off. And get rid of that breakpoint. Go. Alright, request URI no longer has that space in it. Well, it kind of does. It's not escaped anymore, but oh, that's sure enough, that's my fault. I don't know how that extra space got in there, but it did. All right, it's all fired up again. I'm not even going to set the breakpoint. I'm pretty confident it's going to work this time. So again, this over here is what you want to be watching. Gonna send my open event. Aha! Look at that! So my pantry light right now, my physical pantry light in the room next to me is on. And well, it happened because I passed this code from Postman to a web API through SignalR to a console app, which sent another REST request back to my Hubitat device to turn on the light. So now I've got that offloaded into its own, I've got the pantry light automation offloaded into its own executable, which means I can go, write the long running code that I was talking about. I'm not going to. My next stream is going to be refactoring to get this crap out of the code, because I'm not checking it into GitHub until I get this crap out, right? Access tokens and base addresses and all that. Nada. And of course, I'm going to have to change that access token because I'm sitting here streaming my access token, so if anybody was on my network, they could do whatever they wanted. But at least the proof of concept is working. And in fact, before we call it a day, I'm going to come over here. I know we should make this configurable, but I don't want to right now. I mean, let's just be honest. I'm simply being lazy. So in the executive right now is connecting to localhost 9776. I'm going to hardcode port 5000 into that, because that's what it runs on the Raspberry Pi. That's what I have it configured to run as on the Raspberry Pi. So make sure it builds. It builds. Okay. We're going to publish the whole shebang here. Actually, I'm going to, there we go, publish. Folder, yada, 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 yada. Let me check real quick and make sure. Nope, I want self-contained Linux x64, but I don't want Linux x64. I just can't change it through that dialog. I have to go into the publish profile and change it to Linux ARM manually. There we go. Let's blow away that bin folder. Now we'll publish again. Make sure it all looks right. Nope, nope, nope. I said Linux ARM. There we go. Self-contained Linux ARM. Perfect. File is changed, yada, 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 yada. Sure. Yep, go. Publish it. All right, and then do I still have? All right, so there's my Puppet Common. That's open over here. Let's also go to Puppet Master and also well, let's open here first and look in my bin folder. Release. What's today's date? 20th? Nope, these are not it. They're in the debug. Puppet Master and Puppet Common. Beautiful. All right. So we're going to SSH into my Raspberry Pi. And I don't know the password. That's why I use a password manager. What did I name it? I don't remember what I named it. It's going to be under home network. There we go. No, that's not it. Behold all my usernames. If you want to try to brute force me, go right ahead. That's my Hubitat. That's my Octopi. That's my Retro. Oh, there it is. Raspberry Automation. It took it a minute to sync. There we go. Okay. So if we look, we can see that on this machine running right now, and has been for a long time, the old version of that web API. Let's. Is kill a switch for the PS command? 379. PS kill 379. Will you let me do that? Nope. All right, we'll look it up. Linux kill process. Kill a process in Linux. Yada 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 yada. PSaux kill by PID. So kill 379. Yeah, thanks, Elijah. That appeared to have killed it. All right. Where's my FileZilla? And we'll connect over FileZilla. So let's bring the updated, there it is, the updated web API code over there. And then I'm going to make a new directory. We'll call it executive. Oh, that was another brain fart earlier. I published the class library, not the executive. Publish to folder, yada yada yada. It's going to publish, but I'm going to have to publish it again. I want it to be self-contained. Linux x64, save. Manually edit the publish profile to say Linux ARM. There we go. So that is published. I just need to copy it over there. Release, publish all these files. I believe. All right. So one thing that you have to do with .NET Core code when you put it on a Raspberry Pi is you have to give it permissions to run. So can you run? Let's find out. Actually, let's do this. Let's open up another SSH window. And it's not possible to find any compatible framework version. Do I need to publish that again? Did I break something? I probably broke something. All right. Fine. Well, let's at least make sure we can run the executive. It's going to sit there and look like it hung. Blows up. One or more error. Connection refused. Okay, good. Good. So that at least runs. Now we got to figure out why the web API is not working. Well, when in doubt, because this has been a development environment, when in doubt, blow it all away and just deploy again. Right? I'm not interested in doing a lot of troubleshooting. Make sure we're still configured right. Self-contained Linux ARM. Yep. All right. Go. That's interesting. Installing .NET App Host 2.1. Shouldn't I be on 2.1. Like 2 or something? All right, publish succeeded. So the publish will be under release. There's everything. Drag it. Drop it. All right. Give it permissions to run. All right, that's running. Let's check, make sure the executive can connect to it. Where did my other SSH window go? There we go. So we should get the, okay, it's connected. All right, so in theory, I shouldn't need Postman or anything for this. In theory, if I come over here and go to my test contact, right, the virtual contact that I can just click on, open and closed, we should see the light go on. So currently it's closed. Let's open. Give it a second to just in time compile a bunch of stuff. No, nothing. Oh, wait. There's the problem. There's the problem. I see the problem. Now, after this works, I'm going to end the stream, and then I'm going to go set up some cron jobs to run these automatically on reboot. All right, so it's going to connect to itself, and all right, close. Aha! Look at that. Open. All right, so if we open this in a new window here and go and look at the actual pantry light. All right, it says the light's on right now, right? Why am I blanking out here? There we go. Pantry light's on. So if I close the virtual contact switch, pantry light is off. On, off. And that's all flowing through this automation engine that I've got running on the Raspberry Pi in my basement. So, yay! If my friend Scott Addy happens to be viewing, thank you for the suggestion to use SignalR to do the real-time communication between processes there. I think that's going to work well. I've got some more refactoring to do. I need to move some of those hard-coded values out into their own out into configuration files. I need to get this code in GitHub because I'm flying without a net right now and I don't like it. And what else did I want to do? Oh yeah, I gotta wire up some cron jobs. Oh, I probably ought to add something to the executive, some retry logic. I thought it had some retry logic, but I need to add some so that it handles the connection refused exception and tries again. Because the cron job will try to start both of those applications simultaneously when the Raspberry Pi is booted, and the executive will just fail if I don't have it. If I don't have some sort of a retry logic in there. So that's what I've got going next. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for watching. Elijah, if you're still watching, I saw you had some questions about devices and stuff. I will hit you up offline. Everyone, again, thanks, and see you next time.